Hey, hey, we are back in the building. Guys, if as you can see, hey, it's your girl Lady Free.
Yes, and your girl Zadie,
Y'all, we
yeah.
in the building. It's just the ladies tonight, so we are talking about a hot topic. Y'all, we have a letter, and I'm so excited. The topic we're talking
Woo!
about today is why are we fighting? What's the point? What are we fighting for? I know that we have all had situations where we are in a relationship and we wondering, okay, why are we fighting? What's the point? What are we fighting for? So we're gonna get into that tonight. You ready, Zany?
I'm ready. Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So yeah, we got a letter. We haven't had a letter in a minute, but I was excited. So let me put on my glasses. Here we go.
Yes, put on your eyes, girl, so you can see.
Yes. All right. First of all, for those who are on the way in, who are coming in, y'all, welcome to Shift Real Talk. This is a podcast, y'all. We talk about love, we talk about life, and we talk about relationships. Everybody wants to be in love, but if you don't know how to do it right, it okay? So that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about love, life, and relationships. So if this is your first time, you know what? Hit the like button when you like it. Share it when you feel like you hear something worth sharing so we can make sure this video go out to a lot of people. So let's talk about it. Okay, here we go. Dear Shift Real Talk. Lately, my partner and I have been stuck in a cycle of fussing. It's not even full on arguments, just constant back and forth, snapping over little things. We both have needs, but neither of us feels heard because our defenses are always up. By the time we try to talk about the real issues, it gets drowned out by the tit for tat, scorekeeping, and who's right this time. The thing is, we used to be different. We used to hold each other down, hold each other accountable, push each other to grow, and really talk. We were that couple people looked at and thought, now that's a power team. But now we walk away from conversations feeling defeated, like we're on opposite
Mm,
sides instead of on the same team. I keep asking myself, what are we fighting for? Are we fighting for each other or are we just fighting to win? Because right now, I can't tell. Signed, tired of tug of war. I know a
wow.
lot of people right now. This hitting home for you. What you thinking, Zane?
Yeah. Yeah, that you know what? I think it hit home for all of us because even if it's not what we consider to be like a strong tug of war,
Mm-hmm.
there's always some type of difference of minds going on in a
Right,
relationship, right?
right,
So I think we all can relate to this because you have two people trying to come to some kind of agreement.
right. Or are they?
Uh oh.
Or are they? Let's go back.
Okay, now.
Hold up. Let's go
Okay.
back. Technology. Let me see what I did wrong. Let's bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. Now, this is what our lady said. And the glasses. She said, this is so interesting. I just had it up. Okay, here it is. She said,
Mm-hmm.
lately, by the time we try to talk about the real issues, it gets drowned
Mm-hmm.
out by tit for tat, scorekeeping, scorekeeping, and who's right this time. When it gets to that point for me, I don't feel like that both parties are trying to work it out. So How about this? How do we drop the rope for tug of war, of the tug of war? When you think about tug of war, what do you think about? You
I
remember tug
think
of war?
about somebody on. Yeah, I remember it's two people on opposite ends,
Come
and
on,
they're trying to win. They're trying to
trying to
pull as hard
win.
as they can to win. Hmm.
Right. Two different teams, one on this end
Yes.
and one on this end. Both of them are pulling in different directions, trying to win
Hmm.
at all costs.
Hmm.
People get scraped up knees, people get their elbows messed up, hands all scraped up, but they pulling as hard as they can in their
Hmm.
direction, right? So when
Hmm.
it comes down to that, there is no way that two people who are supposed to be on the same team are now on opposite ends of the rope
Hmm.
and they are trying to work it out. At this point, there is
Um,
that I don't believe they're trying to work it out.
I don't even think that. Do you think they should drop the rope though? I think that's the problem. I think whenever we're in a relationship and we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about that rope, we're thinking somebody has to win. But why can't there be? Because I'm thinking about that scripture about the a cord of three strings is not quickly
Not
broken.
easily broken, right?
Right, right. I'm thinking
Okay,
about that scripture because it's. Go ahead.
but
You wanted to say something?
what if the rope is pain, unspoken needs,
Mm-hmm.
um, um, what's another one? Insecurities. What if the rope that is between you, the thing that's separating you and causing you to be on two teams, is all of the stuff that's wrapped up in why you can't be on the same team and fight together in the first place? What
This
if
is. I
that's
don't
the
think
rope?
that's
Come
a
on, think
rope. I
about
think
it.
that's a chain. I don't
But
think
think
that's a rope. I think that's a chain.
but even if it is though, think about the fact, let's say hypothetically it is the rope. What is that thing that's in between you and your husband, you and your wife, you and your boyfriend or girlfriend that's causing you to be on opposite sides when you're supposed to be working together? We're supposed to be on the same side, right? But instead, we're on
Mm-hmm.
opposite sides. So, what is that thing, hypothetically, metaphorically speaking, what is that thing that's in between you? Pride, ego, that's stopping you from coming together. I consider that in my little imaginary mind, that's the rope, that pride. You take that pride, that pain, that unspoken needs, and you tie it all together. It's not easily broken because people not trying to give up their pride. People are holding on tight to their pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Yeah, but
think about that?
I'm still thinking about because you said we should be on the same side, and I think that's sometimes where the divide comes in, because I don't think necessarily we have to be on the same side. It's the end result, right? So, for instance, I used to work in corporate America,
Okay.
and we had a director come in that I had to report to, and she would come up with these ideas that I didn't necessarily agree to, and because I was stuck in the knowledge I had and what I felt like she lacked, I would feel like, how dare she intrude on what I know to be true, right?
Right.
But then because of her position, I had to listen to what she suggested. So I would listen to what she suggested. And after I did what she suggested, it would actually work out better because she had fresh eyes. She
Mm-hmm.
wasn't as involved as I was in the process because she was looking at the end result while I was looking at the process. So we
Okay.
wasn't necessarily on the same side per se because I'm over here saying do it this way. She's over here saying do it that way. But we both of us, well, I because I was stuck didn't see the end result was going to be the same or even better. And I think that's what happens in relationships because we're looking to be on the same side. So when somebody's not agreeing with us, we feel offended.
Okay, how about this? Maybe not the same side, but the same team. Because think about tug of war.
Absolutely. You
It's
have to be
not
on the
just
same
two
team.
different sides. It's the red team against the blue team. The Tigers
We
against the
definitely have to.
Lions. It's two teams, one against the other. So
Hmm.
how do we drop the tug of war rope? For me is that thing of how do we drop those things that cause us to be on separate teams. Because if one, it can't
Hmm.
just be one person. You know how they say, well, one person got, if it's one person and I'm pulling hard and that person decides, you know what, I'm gonna drop it. Guess what, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go flying backwards, possibly hurting myself, right?
Hmm.
It has to
Hmm.
be something where both of us decide we have to get rid of, it's some pain that's in the middle of both of us that we need to drop. It's some unspoken needs that I have. I need to talk to you about this. But it seems
Yeah.
like whenever I try to talk to you, defenses go up. And when defenses go up, daggers fly or rocks or pebbles fly off. And it's like, I'm getting hurt. It's a fragile situation. And I'm getting hit. I'm getting daggered because they're unspoken needs that I'm not trying to hurt you. I tell this to my husband.
And I
I'm
think
not
that's
trying to
where
hurt you.
compassion comes from.
Say again.
Hmm. I think that's where compassion is going to have to come in, right? Because I'll use myself as an example. There
Mm-hmm.
was a time where I had a wall up and I didn't even realize that I had this wall up, right? Because I was so used to
Mm.
protecting myself. So when my husband would say something that I didn't like because
Yeah.
it went against, it bounced on my wall and
Oh,
like seemed like it was trying to push against my wall,
yeah.
I would lash out, right? But because of his compassion, honestly, because he didn't lash back out at me, he didn't holler,
Mm.
he didn't nothing. Sometimes he would just say, "Okay, Mia." Because of his
Right.
compassion towards me, it made me walk away from the situation and think.
And think.
Because it goes back to that scripture that says, "A soft answer turns away wrath."
Yeah.
That's that soft answer of, "Okay, Mia," made me walk away and think.
And because you were in pain, because you already had something that was blocking you from that wall or that rope, that's blocking you from actually hearing or understanding this person is
Hmm.
not trying to hurt you. In order for two people to be in a relationship and grow and become that, like she
Hmm.
said, we were looked at as the power team. I have to be able to come to you as my husband or my boyfriend, or he has to be able to come to her and say, listen,
Hmm.
this is what I'm feeling. I'm not getting this from our relationship anymore. And the person that's hearing this should already know. You know who you're dating, you know who you're married to. If you know that that person has no ill will towards you to hurt you or have no motive
Hmm.
to try to manipulate you and control you and get their way only, then that you should at least take into consideration, okay, listen, if she or he is telling me this need is not being met, they're not trying to tell me I'm inadequate. They're not trying to
Right.
tell me that I'm not good enough to be their man or husband or wife. They're just telling me there is an issue here that needs to be addressed so we can be better. So we can be that power couple that we know we can be. With me helping you get better, I see some pain. You over here saying, well, you have unspoken needs. It's like you've been quiet lately. What's going on? We should pay attention to each other enough to know there's a rope in between us, and we on two separate teams right now.
Hmm.
But we need to drop this tug of war rope and stop pulling,
Hmm.
cause that's a tough game to play. That
Who it
that that tug
is.
of war, it's
Your
really
hand,
war,
it really
right?
is. Unless you have on gloves, your hands get burned up by the rope.
Okay,
You gonna fall down and all kind of
yeah.
stuff.
It's like, so at some point, think about it. If we always, I mean, my hands on fire because I'm pulling as hard as I can so I can get my needs met from you, but I'm not addressing the issue like I should. I don't really know how to say it because you know that's it's in the Bible where it says evil Evil people run when no one is chasing them. And I paraphrase it. I didn't get that exactly right. But it's like
Mm-hmm.
people, evil people, people that are of evil intent, they will run and nobody's even chasing them. Let me put that in another sense. People that are hurt will hurt when nobody's trying to hurt them. It's a
Yeah.
conversation that needs to be had between the two of us so that our connection will not be buried under the pain, the unspoken hurts and needs, the pride that I've noticed, and it's a lot of people in leadership. If they would just listen to their wives, say, babe, I noticed that, pride is creeping in and we don't want that. It's a matter of listening to the person that God has allowed you to be with, knowing that person has your best interest at heart if that's your situation. You know what I
But
mean?
you know what, sis? But let's be honest, because you touched on something. You said because your spouse bring up or your mate bring up an issue, it doesn't mean that you're inadequate. And that's the funny part about it, because what we have to realize, the feeling of inadequacy doesn't come from that moment, from
Right.
that person complaining. That was something that already existed, and then your mate hit it, right?
Right.
Because what we have to realize is when we were alone, yes, it was adequate because we learned how to survive with it, right?
Right.
We learn how to survive with the pain, survive around the hurt,
Uh-huh.
survive around the offense. But then when we get in a relationship, they don't know how it affected you inside. Yes, you could have told them the stories and all of that, but they don't understand the impact inside,
Yeah.
internally, what it did to you. So when they say something, they don't know that they're going to hit that spot. But
Right.
immediately you're thinking, oh, so you're trying to say I'm not good enough. Never that. So you can't you sometimes when you feel that way, when you feel your spouse or your mate is telling you something and is making you feel inadequate, start searching to where that came from. Where did that
Exactly.
feeling really derive?
Right. Because a lot of the stuff that
Mm-hmm.
we dealing with in current relationships, if we only thought and realized, truly understood that I'm fighting you in this relationship based on something I experienced way before I met you. You know, and when you care for that person, that thing of, what, I noticed that I touched on something. And people say it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Nah, it's what you say too. Because if I say, you know what, you always, you see what that is? That's attack. But if I say, I noticed that, lately things have been a little touch and go with you. Are you okay? And I know everything not gonna come out sweet like that. But at the same time though, even I'm gonna be transparent. Me and my husband had us a knockdown drag out yesterday. We had our first argument in a long time. Let me get on here to see. But it needed to happen because there were some things that we needed to address that we had not spoken about in a minute, because what happens in life is we're just going. We're going. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes in our going, it's not a issue of love. That's not the issue. It's an issue of, because we're going so much, sometimes things get lost in the sauce. And so I'm a big advocate for confrontation, because confrontation is not a bad word to me. I'm not talking about cussing you out and going off and calling you out your name, with a level of respect. I feel like when you confront the issue and you don't and you don't battle the person, you good to go. So what we had was a mix of both. We had a mix of, we was battling each other, and we had a mix of, okay, we battling the issue. And we not through yet. We haven't, we coming around the bend. But I wanted to be transparent about that because I noticed some insecurities in even myself yesterday. I noticed some unmet needs, that unspoken needs, that I didn't say, which was unfair to him, because if I don't say it, he don't know it. But if I say it, then we're gonna have an
Absolutely.
argument. I take the argument all day long than to have
Mhm.
something unspoken and be totally unfair to the other person because they have no clue what's going on. We
Mhm.
gotta stop with the sides. How do you drop the rope?
Mhm.
You gotta acknowledge it's there. That's how you
And that's
drop it.
another thing. We can't be afraid of arguments because you said some key too. I mean, you keep saying key things. In relationships, we're scared of arguments.
Right.
Arguments are healthy.
They
We look at
are.
them as something negative. They're healthy because how else will you exchange the thoughts of mind, right? Both of you
Right.
have different point of views. How do you convey that if you don't ever get to argue your perspective?
Right. And
It's
arguing
the
does
not saying that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I go ahead. I'm listening.
No, I was just gonna say it's the not saying that's more dangerous than actually saying.
Right. And I would say sometimes you may say things that you can't take back that were kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my husband said something to me yesterday, and it could have hurt my feelings, but because I know that at that moment his defenses was up, we got to remember when them defenses are up, guess what happened? All kind of debris go flying, and
Yeah.
he wasn't trying to say anything that initially to hurt me. But in that moment, his defenses went all the way up. It was like, boom. You know how, well, I can't say, you know how when you go to jail, the door closed. I've only seen it on TV. Thank you, Jesus. But yeah, it's like that. Boom. That defense went up. But what I noticed, because we've been together so long, what I noticed was when his defenses went up, my my reaction, it wasn't a response anymore. I started to react, and I messed up. I really did. I messed up at first, but then I kind of got it together, and I realized that we wasn't battling with each other. It was when the Bible said we don't battle with
Mm-hmm.
flesh and blood, that we're
Mm-hmm.
battling with principalities and rulers in high places. See, the devil didn't bring out the little imps. He brought out the big dogs. He brought out those high demonic uh, forces to try to come in and infiltrate. He don't play when it comes to marriage, right? He don't play when it comes to a
Right.
relationship that's supposed to resemble how Jesus loved his bride here on earth. He don't play. So
Mm-hmm.
once we realize that, that was our moment at that time to drop the rope. But let me ask you a question. How do
That's all. I'm
we
about to
start?
ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ask your question.
But go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay, my question is, how do we start hearing each other again? Okay, so the rope is dropped. We acknowledge the pain.
That's what I was
We
gonna
know that it's
ask.
there. We're working on the things that we noticed. We had a knockdown drag out, no physical. We said some things. We got it out. We purged. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Mm-hmm.
How do we start hearing each other again?
I think even in an argument, you should hear each other, right? Like that goes back to what I just said earlier, the compassion. Because I'll use your example. You said when he said something hurtful to you,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't take it offensively because you knew where it was coming from,
Right.
right?
I
And
could
you
have,
also knew you could have.
but I didn't.
You very well could have, but you didn't, and that's the important part. That compassion. That when your spouse or your mate say something that could really sting, you
Right.
realize, oh, it's not me, it's you. Where that's coming from? And I know I keep saying that, but for real, like, what triggered
Right.
that? What did I say? Because I'm gonna be honest. I've asked my husband that in the midst of an argument, we'll be arguing, and then he say something way off the topic, and I'll be like, where that came from? And he'd
Right.
be like, what? That came no, 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 no. Let me break that down. But what triggered you to say that though? That
Right.
right there. And then sometimes he'll say, I don't know. And I have to think about that. And other times he'll be like, oh, yeah, that
Right.
didn't make sense, huh? You know what I'm saying?
That
But
came from
you
left
have to
field.
have You have to have the compassion enough to not take it offensively and
Yeah.
challenge them. Where did that come from?
Right. And in challenging him, I did challenge a little bit yesterday, but I think timing when you challenge the person
Definitely,
is definitely key.
definitely.
Because while we all rah rah rah, there's no way I'm gonna say, where that come from? I think I triggered. I mean, that's something from your past. Like, what? Who hurt you? Now I'm counselor, right? So I think that caused
Hmm.
for us. That caused a little bit of an uproar as well, because it's like now it's like we all in a heated argument, in a heated revelation, and now it's almost like I'm looking at you in judgment. Now I just saw something, but what about what I said that caused that? Now I have to admit, we have to be mindful of the fact too that when we're having heated arguments or whatever, we have to be intentional. I had to be intentional. My stuff was heightened too. My stuff was heightened too. But once I couldn't take it back once I said it. I have to apologize. I
Hmm.
still haven't apologized, y'all. I have to apologize when I get
Mm.
home. I do. Um, because the Bible said you go to that person. I could say it on, babe, I'm sorry. No, I could say it now, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go to him. Um, but after I went and got in the car, I sat in the car. I drove up the block like I was going somewhere, wasn't going nowhere. And I sat in the truck and I thought about some things. And some of the stuff that I thought about, it was like hindsight 2020. I saw the responses he was giving me, and I was like, man, I missed the mark. I missed it. I missed it bad too. And then having my girls, you and Barbie, having people that understand the situation that can give wise counsel. Y'all, it's important to have wise counsel, because you can hear somebody that you're in a relationship with, even when it's heated, if you realize, okay, I don't want to miss the mark no more. I don't want to ever have a moment where I say things that's out of pocket, that even though I apologize and we're done with it, guess what? It still may come up to you later. And now I've added to the trigger. Now you got a hair trigger. And it's because of something that came out of my mouth. You feel what I'm saying?
I do get it, but also what I've also learned in that is that you have to have grace for yourself too, because you're not perfect. And then you have to ask yourself too, okay, where that came for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you go with your apology, you got to be that example to say, not only do I apologize, but here's what triggered that for me,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to work on myself. But here's, where I think that I triggered you. How can we work on that for you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And from experience, like you're right in the very beginning when when you're if you're heated and he's heated, then no, you can't be therapists, right? But I do think in the midst of an argument, and I was thinking back to like Karamo. I know we talk about Karamo often,
Mm-hmm.
but Karamo don't wait till they calm down. He asked them right there. You want to know why? Is because when their heart is already like pumping and it's
Mm-hmm.
open, that's the best point, like spot to just keep on peeling it open because it's already open. But when
Yeah.
you let it cool all the way down, then yeah, I ain't dealing with that because
But
that's over and done with.
you gotta think about it too, though, sis. Karamo is not the person that's in the argument. He's the person on the outside that you already know he's gonna give feedback. But I'm talking about when you and that person is in, like for me, I don't know what works for anyone else's home.
Mm-hmm.
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed yesterday that when he was heightened, that was the wrong time for me, who was causing some of
Yeah.
the hype, to say
Yeah.
what I noticed. It was like in that moment, looking from his side, he probably was thinking like, really, the nerve. But looking from my side, it was like, oh snap! I just realized we battling each other and we not supposed to, because this ain't got nothing to do with flesh and blood. This ain't got nothing to do with me and him. This has everything to do with spiritual principalities and wickedness in high places. Like all the influence of the devil saying, look at him. You heard what he just said? And over here, the devil telling him, and we know better. But we fall into it because we haven't had an argument in a minute. So I guess we're a little rusty. And we allowed ourselves to do the devil's bidding. Because, not do his bidding, but his work. Because when we fight against each other, he ain't got to do it. It's like, I ain't got to do nothing because they doing it for me. And that's the one thing we do not want. That tit for tat, you can never hear what your spouse or your partner in your relationship is trying to say. If I say what I need from you, babe, can you please stop leaving your dishes in the sink like that? Like I just cleaned up. And you say, well, you leave your shoes in the corner over there when I just clean up. It's like, do you understand that at that moment, all I was saying was, if you stop doing that, then we could work together to have a cleaner house. Now, if you have an issue and you want to bring up the shoes, bring it up, but don't make it because I said. That's so immature of us. And when we're trying to grow and become that power couple, when we become that power team, then we should hear it differently. That's how we hear each other again. Change the perspective on, tune our hearing to say, okay, she's just asking me for a better experience. Like the way she's experiencing this is this. Let me do it. What's the harm in doing it? What's the harm in saying, you know what, babe, you right. I'm gonna work on that. Bam, easy, right? I'm not dead. I just
Mm-hmm.
said, okay. It didn't hurt me to just hear that person and say, oh, okay, done. Argument eliminated. Punch the devil in the face again. He missed. So now he got to try
But you
other
know what,
stuff.
sis?
Go ahead.
I agree with you to a certain degree. I do think the devil does have the pleasure of y'all arguing, but I think it's more of a root thing. I don't think it's him causing the argument, right? Because if you blame it on him, then it takes away the accountability that something in you, there's a root that needs to be plucked out, right? So yes, he's taking pleasure in y'all argument because y'all, like you said, y'all arguing, he ain't gotta do nothing. Y'all got that division on y'all own. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But on both sides, there was something in each of you that needed to be um the word I'm thinking about is corrected. I don't know if that's the right word, but there's something in both of you too that needed to be corrected so that the union can become stronger. Because as long as we keep living in whatever offense or childhood pain or, whatever it is, then we're going to constantly repeat the cycle. And we
Right.
wonder why we repeat in cycles.
Well, let
And
me
that's
ask the
not the devil
question.
bidding, that's us.
Okay, so let me ask this question. What do you think the
Hmm.
devil can grab hold to so that he can? Because the scripture specifically says we battle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities.
Right?
So in that moment, what do you think he has to grab onto? Those very things that you just said, those things
Yeah,
that
but
we've
we give
dealt
too
with, our
much power to
traumas.
him. He ain't got that much power.
But no, I didn't give him power. I spoke to the fact that he has influence. He's deceitful and
Yeah, he
very crafty.
does.
He said the Bible said he was more crafty than any other creature. He's
Yeah, he
deceitful.
does.
That's the only thing that I feel like that I can say. I'm not saying the devil made me do it. The devil, oh, that was the devil. I don't do that. That's not my vernacular. But what it is when I notice we going at it and I realize that it went from us having a conversation to now this big heated argument about nothing. Then I noticed that that's when at this point we're arguing opinions, we're arguing pain, we're arguing and both of us are putting our defenses up. We're not hearing each other again, and none of that is God. And it's only two sides. You either got God's side or you got the side of the enemy. So at that moment, his influence got in there somewhere, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not giving him power to like, oh my God, he's stirred up, but he grabs hold to those pains and bring those. We don't trigger those things that are triggered. Sometimes think about it. I take that back. We do trigger with certain things we say, but there are things that happens, I believe, that causes us to be triggered by the things that we say. And a lot of times, where does it come from?
It comes from us. Like like I said, I do agree. He does have
Uh-huh.
influence. But when we realize the things we say came from us, it came from our ugliness inside. It came like,
Right.
and I say
I
that
agree
with
with
the
that.
most humbleness because I have seen myself, and like being married has shown me
Oh
really
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
me.
It will.
I've said some really nasty stuff, and then God will deal with me later, and it wasn't the enemy influencing me to say it. It was really Mia. It was all Mia. And I had to come back and be like, I apologize. I know now where it came from after, God talked to me about it. But before God talked to me about it, I didn't know where that came from. I didn't even realize that ugliness, it was ugly. To me,
Did
it
you
was
hear
just
what you
me
just
being
said?
me.
Did you hear what you just said? I didn't
What?
know where it came from.
Right. But it was in me because I didn't recognize the place of hurt that it came from, not because it was
Uh-huh.
the enemy. It was a
Right.
place of hurt in me that it stemmed from. And until that place got healed, which then when God showed me the place of hurt, then I was,
Mm-hmm.
able to allow it to heal. But before,
I
I
got
covered
you.
it up.
I got you. And a lot of times I think that those moments need to happen. Like I know we feel
Hmm.
bad after we have arguments, especially if it don't go in the way we think. But I think those arguments at times need to happen in order for God to even, I mean, because the devil can't win, period. So it's like
Right.
God will even show you the ugliness inside of you or the stuff that's inside of you
Hmm.
and reveal some
Correct.
things when that argument is over. And it's like, wow, okay, I need to work on that. And
Yeah.
even though you see that other person, you also see yourself. So that's why I said confrontation for me. I like healthy confrontation because it allows me to confront not only me, but it allows me to confront things that I see, and it allows me to see things I need to pray for. Let's get it popping. When I saw what was going on, I said, "Oh my goodness." So that's
Yeah.
y'all. Listen, in order for us to hear each other again, we have to ask God to open up our ears. We have to ask God to tender our hearts. We have to allow him to come in and walk that walk with us. We can't do it
Yeah.
ourselves and on our own because our flesh will not our flesh going to fight us. Our triggers
So,
are going to fight us. Our traumas are going to the
yeah.
norm, the drama that we don't even realize we cause that made this mess flare up in the first place. It's like some people just have to have drama. But in order for us to hear each other
Yeah.
again, we have to be intentional about listening to the heart of the person that we're trying to be in relationship with.
So, how do we get back to fighting for the relationship instead of fighting in it? Because too many
Mm.
times we're fighting in it. So, how do we get back to fighting for the relationship?
Right. So how do we get back on the same side of the rope that we just
Come
dropped?
on. Come on,
Walk,
somebody.
action, action. Because if I'm on one
Uh
side of the
oh.
rope and you on the other side and we were on opposite teams with the tug of war, now we've dropped the rope and I
Hmm.
hear your voice. I hear you. Guess what I got to do now? Act on it. That's how.
Yeah.
That's how we get from fighting each other to fighting in this thing together. We have to act on what we heard that person say was their need or the pain that we saw or the trauma. You know your person. You know what they went through.
But what if
So,
I'm the one who feel unheard?
well, then at that point, okay, so if you feel unheard in the argument that you had or in the tug of war, the tit for tat that you notice is not the correct way to do it, be intentional about stopping that. If you're the one that's not being heard, then guess what? Okay, I've been that person before. I'm not being heard, but guess what? I know somebody that will hear me. I go to that person. Because sometimes it just takes me to say it out loud for me to hear it. And then I ask for help. I need help. I need tag me in. Okay, God, I need you to help me. That when I go to Pastor J, I say Poppy, when I go to him and ask him about this situation or talk to him about this, that your heart, you would already have tendered his heart, break up the fallow ground in that place, heal him where he need to be healed. I go to war. Because I don't play with it. Relationships, we play with relationships. We pity pat with relationships, not realizing the enemy is totally against relationships. But God is victorious. He is not the one that's cowering back saying, I don't know if I could fix that No, God got it. So if he got it and he got the answer, I'm going to the man with the master plan and saying, okay, how we gonna run this? How we gonna do this? How we gonna do it? I don't never go by myself no more. I went by myself yesterday and you see what happened. You know?
Yes,
I don't go by
yes,
myself no more. I learned from that. I'm taking the big guns with me because I want it
yeah.
fixed. I want to be
And
on
that's
his team.
important.
Yeah. You got to want to be on his team. You got
You
to want to
gotta
fight
want
with
it.
that person. You got to want it.
Hmm.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it to the point where, oh man, I'm in relationship. Like, do we know what an honor that is? I hear single people, and if you're single, live in your singleness. That's the most one of the most beautiful times to grow and blossom and flourish. Sometimes we get so distracted being single that we miss out the whole single process trying to be
Hmm.
married. But think about, it's an honor to be in relationship with someone who truly does love you and you love them back. If you going through problems, guess what? It's okay. Figure it out. But take God with you in it. And I promise you, you're coming out on top. Because he live on top.
Yeah.
You're not
And
going to
you
be
know
on the
what
bottom.
else? You know
Yeah.
what else? You have to also ask yourself whenever you feel that clash and you feel like it's not what you're trying to say is not being conveyed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to ask yourself, what's the focus here?
Come on
What
here.
is the true thing I'm fighting
What
for?
are we talking about?
Yeah. Because if I'm arguing, if okay, say I want fish for dinner,
You're
but I'm
right.
arguing about you not cooking.
Right.
Am I really conveying what the issue is? The issue is that I want fish, but all I'm talking about is you never cook.
Right.
You're not hearing my point because all I'm doing is offending you.
It come on.
What's the focus?
Come on. What's the focus?
What's the focus? So we
What's
have to
the
talk. You have
focus?
to think. Ask yourself, okay, what's the focus here? What am I really, really, really fighting for? And am
Right.
I conveying that accurately to my partner?
So are we spending time checking in with each other? Are we sitting down? How about this? Having little family meetings where we just kind of say, okay, how you been? What's going on with you? Just getting to know, hearing the stories, just hearing the hearts of a person. It don't take nothing but about 30 minutes to have a good family meeting. Just to sit down and just care for the other person. Hear from somebody else and then be heard. It don't take long. So when we do the little check-ins, I think those will help us to eliminate a lot of the big arguments because we already checked in. I already kind of know what's going on with you. So if you come in with a little attitude over here, whatever, then I kind of know where you at with it. So I know how to, help mate. So I know how to help you. You know what's going on with me, so you know how to cover me. So I think that's a good thing to implement. How do we get back on the same team instead of fight each other? Action. One of the things is have little check-ins, checkpoints. How you being today?
Yeah.
What's going on with you? Be intentional. Where? I mean, I noticed the other day. You kind of look heavy. Pay attention to your person. Pay attention to your wife, your husband.
Absolutely.
Pay attention. It don't cost anything to pay it. Pay attention.
Yeah.
And don't just pay attention to see how they move. Oh, you moving different. Don't pay attention for that. Pay attention to see, to get an understanding of who it is that you connected to. Do you know who you
Yes.
connected to? Pay attention. Those are two things you could do as far as action. You can pay attention, have little family meetings. Another one, it could be what? I'm just coming off top because I'm thinking about things that I need to do when I get home. Um,
About tone and voice. Sometimes the tone and voice, you got to pay attention to that too.
yeah,
Because sometimes I may not show it on the outside. I may not even show it in my action. I could be walking, going about my day like everything is okay.
yeah,
But if you really know your person, listen to that tone in their voice. You'll hear something.
right. Yeah, just
Hmm.
care. Just show
Just
care. How
care.
about this? If you really got a lot of, okay, so it's really not the fish, right? It's really, I mean, it's really not the fact that you know, it's not the fish, it's the fact that you don't cook or however your scenario went. How about you sit down and write down certain, okay, write down at the top of your paper, what's really my issue? And then just pour out on paper. And by the time you get a chance to talk to that person, then guess what you have? You have just sat down and wrote down everything, poured out your heart, and now you can pinpoint, oh, that's the real issue right there. So when you go and talk, because we don't plan. We're not, we come, if you're going to fight any kind of battle, if you're any kind of soldier in any kind of army, they have tactical everything. They prepare. We don't prepare for conversations. We just go right in and say, you know what? So it's like, okay, that's a good idea. Take some time. What is really the problem? What am I really mad about right now? And just write down everything and pinpoint what the real issue is. Once you see that, now you
It's
can go
really
to
good.
that person and say, okay, so I was writing down la da 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 da. I was all of this stuff right here. I was gonna give all this to you, but I don't have to because I realize what it really is right here. Can we start working on this? Because this right
Hmm.
here is like it's really getting to me, and I realize my frustration comes from this. So we have to learn how to communicate
Yes.
effectively. That may not work in your house. In your house, it may work with you doing something different. But all I'm saying is prepare for communication.
No, sis, I think that's a good idea because I actually do a pro and cons. Like if I'm highly frustrated, and I can't really find my focus, I
Mm-hmm.
will do a pros and cons list for myself. I'll write down what my frustration is, and
Right.
then on side of it, I'll write what does he do to accommodate my frustration, and
Uh-huh.
then it'll help me eliminate, okay, that's not my problem with this because he does do this. Because a lot of times we go in an argument and it frustrates us because we'll say this is our issue, and then they'll come back and say, well, I do and I do. So my pros and cons is to say, okay, he does do this and he does do that and he does, so what's my real frustration? And
Right.
it'll help me eliminate like where exactly in it is my frustration, because it's something about it, but what exactly is it about that that's
Right.
frustrating me? So
Exactly.
no, that's good.
And
Hmm.
now, you know how dudes be like, dog, she go all around the mulberry bush and go up I-75 and come back down 285, go up I-10, 610. You know, they say we go all over the place just to come to a point. Or, man, I don't understand her. She came fussing about this and it really wasn't that. You know how much that what we just said will eliminate that particular thing? Cause I'm inclined to believe that if this man asks you to marry him and he really does, the one I'm talking about, the ones that really do love you, he try to be a problem solver. But if we can't articulate what it is that we need him to understand about that moment or what I'm going through, then he like frustrated. Like what? Like I tried, and everything is not for solving, but they gonna try. But they say they don't understand women. And a lot of times, if we sit down long enough to really truly understand it ourselves, then we'll be able to bring them, this is what it is. I had to decipher some stuff. I had to go. So now I understand what I put you through. And that's something too. Now I understand why you be like, cuz I just did it to myself, but I went through that on purpose so I could figure this out. This is what the problem is. Can we fix that?
Absolutely.
So now we on the
Count
same
it all
team here.
joy. James 1. Count it all joy when you fall into
Yeah.
diverse temptation.
Guess
Don't look
what?
at it as a bad thing because you have an act because you
Guess
fall
what?
into a
Right.
situation.
No, go ahead. I'm
Come
gonna say
out of
guess
it.
what to you. Guess what? Cause what?
Yeah.
You gonna
Cause
come out
what?
of it.
Yes, you
And when
will.
you come out of it, what, Zane?
When you come out of it, boy, you're gonna have so much joy and you're gonna have understanding and you're gonna be able to help others. Cause
Joy,
then we're gonna
understanding.
all
Come on.
overcome by the word of your testimony.
Right. So we'll be
You're gonna help
back.
somebody
We'll be back
else.
so we can see if these things really, because I'm gonna put to practice. I'm a firm believer. I'm gonna put to practice the things that the Holy Spirit gives to us to help other people with. I'm just not gonna be out here saying stuff and then next thing you know, it's like, well, dog, she said all that to us and it didn't even work for her. I try to put it to practice because I really want this. I really want God to be pleased with the relationship I'm in. I want it to reflect Him. I want people to have hope again. Because when I talk to some people in relationships, they be like, man, I don't got no hope. Let me see something. I want to read a couple of comments. We were talking about Satan and having influence. So Ashley Barbie says, I agree. He does have influence, but I think she's saying that it wasn't nothing. It stemmed from something. A trigger is only pulled when a bullet is there. Oh my goodness. She says, so why is the bullet loaded? Something
Hmm.
just have to come up to get out. Some things just have to come up to get out. Wow. She says accountability from each party. And Patricia piggybacked, hey everybody, Patricia piggybacked and said both parties cool down and come back and have communication. We have to talk about it. Don't let it ride. I love that. I love that.
Absolutely.
We have Mother on the line, Pop Jesse, y'all. We love y'all, and we pray that y'all really got something from this because it's time out for tit for tat. It's time out for the
Yeah.
scoreboard. Like once your love becomes a scoreboard, then nobody wins.
Hmm.
Nobody wins. So we have to get back to the place where, okay, yeah, times are hard right now. It seemed like that we never gonna get over this. Every time I say for him to do this and that, he turned right back around and do it again. I'm sick of talking. I just can't do this. We losing hope. The goal at that point is to get us so discouraged that we just say forget it. But no, we more powerful than that. We have more in us than that to just say, you know what, forget it. What we have to do is be tactical. We have to come up with a plan. We have to be intentional. We had an episode that says, is marriage work? These are the things. Action. Work these action plans, these points, and watch and see how things get better. And it's a process, guys. Don't forget. It is a process. It's not like
Yes.
bling, like magic.
Right.
No,
It's not
it's a
osmosis.
process. And you want that process too. Trust me. Everything that has changed in me and my husband came through a process. But by the time the process was over, I knew it was real. And I knew he wasn't just changing because he tired of hearing my mouth or whatever. I saw the results of the reality. And so same with me. You want to go through the process, hang in there. Go through the process. Get back on his team. Get back on her team. Now we're not talking to people that are in relationships that are toxic, and you know that relationship, and I'm not. You know that relationship is not good. We're not talking to those people. If you know that you're not supposed to be in a relationship, then you have to exit. There's an exit strategy for you. But if this is a marriage and God is in the center of the marriage, it will work. But you can't go by yourself. You got to take the big guns.
And Ernest, I mean, we're out of time now, but I see your eyes. If you have a question, Or if you have a statement, let us know what it is. Why the eyes?
Yes, that's Baritone. Hey, Baritone. Listen, we want you guys to put in the chat. I have a little poll going around. We want you to put it in the chat because we're going to come back and talk about this too. What are your deal breakers? What are your deal breakers in the relationship? We're going to talk about this in a
Oh,
later
that's
show.
good.
I
That's
have to be
good.
honest. People think I'm tripping. I don't have no deal breakers. Ain't nothing finna break this. So
Okay, Neil.
I'm gonna come back. I know. People be like, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, if he do this and he do that, okay, we'll talk about it. But I need y'all to chat us up. What are your deal breakers in a relationship? Be looking for the episode. But we are out of time, guys, and we love y'all so much for joining us today. Take some time out. Send this to a homegirl that you got that's going through. Send this to your partner and let them know, hey, man, this is probably something good for you to watch. Share it. Listen to it. We streaming all over every platform at this point. Log on to Shift Real Talk TV. Join us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We got a little TikTok going on out there. We getting it. So Apple Music. Just keep joining us. Keep giving us your feedback. But until next week, I'm your girl, Lady Free.
And I'm Zany, y'all.
And we will see you same bad channel, same bad place. Peace.
Thanks for watching.